To this now, the South African trade union Solidary is at the Brooklyn police station in Pretoria. That's to lay criminal charges against all parties and persons implicated in the state capture report. Now, these include the likes of former President Jacob Zuma and former head of Transnet and Eskom, Brian Molefe. They're only 2 of the 21 fingered in the state capture report thus far. eNCA reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones is following these developments. Let's cross over to him for the latest development. Pule, we saw the union reps have already arrived. Have they opened the cases already?
Yes, we actually followed them inside the police station with some of the members, which included the head of legal service at Solidarity, Mr. Anton van der Berg, and of course Mr. Dirk Herman, who is the chief executive at the organization and trade union. And they had, a thick black dossier carrying files to make their way inside and eventually go into the process of having what they call a comprehensive docket, which also stems from allegations that have been, and evidence that has been compiled by the Zondo Commission, which they feel will add weight to a case which they say they opened about 3 years ago. They are saying that this time around they hope there will be some sort of, and I quote, political will to ensure that those who are implicated in the state capture report are held to account, such as those that you have mentioned, including the former SAA chairperson Dudumieni, Mr. Zwale Kenche, a former executive at Denel, and of course former chairperson at Denel, Mr. Mancha, there, who we do know once said and told the commission that he saw nothing wrong with the relationship he had with the Guptas. Obviously, there were some sort of patterns that the commission would have picked up there in terms of some of the trips that were paid for him and facilitated by then Sahara CEO Mr. Ansha Chawala to ensure that he goes to Dubai for what Mr. Mancha called as personal obligations that he was attending to.
And then broadly speaking, though, what is the union's take on all of this?
Well, they are of the view that something should be done about this. This is Mr. Dirkman, of course, from the union. Thank you so much for joining us. I just hijacked you right now, and I'm on air. Maybe if you could just tell us, what's the update? Has the case been successfully opened? Are you happy right now?
We are quite happy. The case is successfully opened. It's, of course, against 21 accused, and then specifically focus on places where workers' jobs are actually plundered. We focused on Eskom, we focused on Denel, Transnet, and the SAA, etc. And then, of course, accused number 1 is the former President Jacob Zuma, because he was quite involved in the facilitation of this alleged corrupt activities.
Is this anything new? Do you think anything may change? We've seen fightbacks from those who were implicated in the report. Of course, the former president saying he would be consulting his legal team to take on the volume 3, which implicates him again. We've seen the likes of Minister of Energy, Gwede Mantashe, saying they will take it on judicial review. Quite a lot as well that have said that they will be challenging the report. Are you confident that with this comprehensive docket, which you say you are in possession of, there can be some sort of accountability?
This is the most comprehensive document ever compiled, specifically focusing on this criminal activities. The fact is that we must separate different processes. There's political processes, of course, and that is President Ramaphosa that say that he will announce what he will do, but that's a political process. This is a criminal process, and that is what we are busy with. Of course, Minister Mantashe, etc., they have the full right to challenge the specific findings, and of course they must. I say do that. But the fact is that we continue what we have, prima facie criminal charges, and it is solid charges that we have. We focus on those charges that we are quite sure that one can continue with prosecution. And that's not necessary to wait for a day any longer, because the fact of the matter is South Africans are sick and tired of the fact that, yes, corrupt people walking around, and in our case, our members, at the end of the month, we are responsible for food parcels for Denel artisans. We must help them to get food on the table, and while we do that, there's people with thick pockets out there, and that is the kind of justice what we need.
Maybe just the last general question. Do you think the law here is applied differently in terms of holding those implicated accountable? Do you think there's some sort of, snail-paced processes that are moving and which are dragging to ensure that there's accountability and that those who are implicated and alleged to have been involved in such graft corruption are being held to account?
Our criminal procedures are caught up among sensitivities, political sensitivities and political fights. And that is not acceptable. And that is why we as people of South Africa must come now and say that it's not acceptable at all. This is a charge, it's a very good charge. The second thing is, and that will be in the next weeks, we will have major public campaigns to put pressure on this specific prosecution. And if we are not successful with that, we will also continue with private prosecution. We already contacted AfriForum's advocate Gerry Nel.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Herman from Solidarity, joining us right now, giving us an update. As you've just heard, they're saying that if this process does not move at an expectation which they require should be moving at, then there will be contacting or being in touch with AfriForum, which I believe that has been the case, of its private prosecution department under the lead of Advocate Gerry Nel. But most importantly as well, politically, Mfundo, what we understand is that the ANC has also said that they've received a report from the chair, Jeff Radebe, in terms of an update on how they will be dealing with this situation where some of their members within the organization have been alleged and implicated in the state capture report. What we understand is that the ANC says this will be discussed at their extended National Working Committee early April this year. And hopefully we'll be seeing what will be happening in terms of organization taking accountability, because they've said that they support the commission, and one would want to see that a ruling party would have to take and lead forward in terms of ensuring that there is accountability. But we'll be giving you an update from here sooner, even later, to give you more updates as to what has been the process and what now. How long will they be waiting for till there is action against those who they say have been implicated and should be held accountable?
All right, Pule, we'll leave it there for now. That's our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, out at the police station with Solidarity. To this now.